Good evening, everyone. Let's try that again. Good evening, everyone. There we go. Hello everyone, welcome to round 10 of the season here at Invictus Racing League. We're live for Tier 1 and the drivers are going to be heading around straight in a few seconds into the one-shot qualifying at Portimao. You may have already noticed the dulcet tones of JPH aren't here this evening. I hope he's relaxing wherever in the big wide world he is right now. But I'm Jack TM53, your commentator for this evening. It's a pleasure and a privilege as always to be here. Thankfully, for a bit of consistency, we do have Bruce Lee alongside us here in the comms box. Bruce, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, not bad, thanks, Jack, mate. Yeah, good to have you here, as you say, replacing Jordan for the week. Yeah, get a bit of comedy in this week, maybe, who knows? But yeah, looking forward to this. As you say, you've alluded to it being one-shot quali, so it's going to be pretty frantic action from the start.
Yeah, it's going to be fascinating. And the sprint race, of course, around Portimao, it's a great circuit of the Algarve. 2.9 miles, 15 corners for the drivers to navigate. So getting the lap right first time around is going to be absolutely critical. You can see the countdown timer on your screen there. Well, you should be able to, hopefully, in theory. Looks a little bit overcast. We don't know quite yet what the weather's going to do. I believe it was a dry race yesterday for the Tier 2 boys, wasn't it, Lee?
It was indeed, yeah. It was threatening a bit of rain, but it never came. So, yeah, dry throughout for both the sprint and the main race, and both qualies as well. And I think this is a slightly early ready up, so there's going to be a bit of a mad scramble, I think, for setups. Yeah,
someone's definitely gone early. Let's get all the data and telemetry on the screen for you so you can see there's the track map in that corner. Currently, we've got Brando at the top, but we don't really know what's exactly happening until we head into turn 1, and probably by the end of sector 1, which is just after, if my calculations are correct, at turn 4. We are expecting Merck to be near the front, aren't we, this evening? He's won the championship already, hasn't he, Lee? And he won last week as well.
Yeah, he's been pretty consistent, to say the very least. He's consistently up there on the podium. Qualifying maybe has been his weakest point of the season so far, but he's normally pulled it out in the race and managed to fight his way back through the field. But I mean, as you can see at the moment, Merck is currently only down in 9th. The Red Bull's currently 1st and 2nd as it stands at the moment. They've been pretty good in qualifying this year, but things maybe not gone quite to plan in the race.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all there with that. Got Spooked has just been, the two Red Bulls have just been split by Bjorn de Boer. Cracking name for the Ferrari driver. But Got Spooked is leading the way. He finished 2nd last week at Jeddah. And he's going round the final couple of turns now. I was on board with Brando there. Around this swooping final turn 15 here in Portimao. We're going to run towards the line. Last bit of ERS drained. And it is Got Spooked on pole position for the sprint.
Yeah, Keza and Sydney invalidating their laps, so they're going to be starting at the back. JP actually had a spin as well in the middle of sector 2, so he's a long way back, but he's still going to complete his lap by the looks of it. He's got 12 seconds to do so anyway, so yeah, he should be okay. And we'll start 14th on the grid, but yeah, one tactic which I don't know if they do that way. I think people in listening to they don't take advantage of the second way. But if you do DSQ, you can actually retire the session and then start ahead of all the DSQ. So yeah, a little bit of an interesting one. But yeah, there we go. Would you like me to run through the grid?
Feel free to.
Okay, so Got Spooked on pole in the Red Bull, time falling from here at the moment. Bjorn de Boer in 2nd in the Ferrari. Identical cars on row 2 with Brandy 3rd and Louis 4th. Scootfielder in 5th with Merck staying in 6th. Jet 7th with Ryan 8th. Caputo 9th with Edgewear in 10th, with Attitude 11th, Young Tab 12th, Gabri 13th, JP with Spin 14th, and DSQ with Keza and Sydney rounding out the grid.
Yeah, obviously invalidating track limits, those two, so they've got a lot of work ahead in the sprint to try and get an advantage in terms of the grid position slot for the feature race. So the drivers are going to be up against it now. Those that have DSQ'd or had a little spin as we've just seen from JP. Those guys are going to have to put some moves in over the next 11 laps. In terms of tyre strategy for the sprint, you're going to be looking anywhere between the softs or the mediums. It looks very clear according to the track conditions for the sprint, so it's going to be one of those two. We don't factor in the hards. It'd be a surprise if anyone ran them. But good start for the Red Bulls and the Ferraris. They must be pretty pleased with their performance of the one shot. We need to find out obviously who is responsible for the ready up early. They're going to get a penalty, which isn't ideal for them. But the Red Bull Ferrari teams, they're going to be chuffed a bit.
Yeah, as I said recently, that their qualifying form has been very good. They've just maybe not sort of converted it in the race, but yeah, we'll be interested to see if they can do it Merckx a little bit further back, as you say. Just a note, I believe there should actually be a separate one-shot quali for the main race as well. So yeah, this sprint is a standalone race really, just to pick up those points, which obviously go from first down to I believe 8th place, unless you want to correct me on that one.
No, I'm not going to say anything for the time being. I'm not going to say anything at the moment. Obviously, with the two split sessions, my brain's still thinking it's F123 back in those glory days. But we are going to be moments away from the flag dropping here at Portimao. A really fascinating circuit, one that you don't typically get in modern Formula One nowadays, with it being a blend of old school circuits and street tracks. Portimao's kind of somewhere in the middle, a very sort of almost Paul Ricard levels of safe track action. You won't typically get many safety cars around here because of the amount of runoff. That's not to say there won't be any, of course. There could still be, depending on the accidents that may occur. But so many undulating turns, looking at turn 15 on the approach as well, from 9 into turn 10 in the middle part of the track. I mean, Lee, this track is a favourite for a lot of people. Where do you stand on it? Are you a fan, or are you less of a fan?
I'm in a strange position that I actually quite enjoy the circuit, but I don't tend to have good pace through it, as probably people might have noticed if they were watching T2 last night. I did have a slight struggle really to keep up the pace with the front guys, but yeah, I enjoy driving the circuit. But yeah, as you say, it's not really fraught with that much danger. I think turn 4 is probably one of the only spots where you're likely to actually go off and hit the wall.
Yeah, that's right, on the climb up to 4 on the inside wall. We've got the formation lap undergoing. So Scott Spooks will lead the field away, almost as if it's 2x2 alternatives with the Red Bulls and the Ferrari team. I'm sure Christian Horner and Ferdinand Vasseur will be both happy with that. I say Ferdinand, I mean Fred, of course. But in any case, just to give you an update on the points situation and how the sprint points work for Invictus Racing League. It's the top 5 in the sprint that get the points. It just goes 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straightforward, easy enough to remember. And then in the main race, it's the top 12. Let's have a look at the tyres. A couple of drivers have gone for the mediums, back of the grid typically. Oh, that's it. Kezza's off the road. I'm not quite sure what happened there. He's going to get back on. Sydney will let him back through. That seemed a bit peculiar. But it's Gabri, JP and Sydney. Those are the 3 on the mediums. Everyone else going for the softs. Lee, in your experience yesterday, what was it like with the sprint in terms of the tyre offset? Was it mediums, more people, or softs? What did you have?
Yeah, there were significantly more soft runners yesterday in the sprint race. I think there were only 1 or 2 that went for the mediums. And yeah, I think the advantage the soft runners were getting at the start was enough to counteract the advantage the mediums had towards the end. We found that the softs were wearing probably around 5% a lap, so they're not trash like some circuits would do to them. I think this circuit in general is fairly low grip, so I don't think it kills the tyres quite as much as other circuits.
No, it's certainly one of those circuits that's a bit low degradation and low grip, as you said. I've just seen a few people just sliding off the road, actually. Ash Tube having a bit of a wobble.
Gavin's just funny, yeah. I just said that.
Yeah, they're all doing it. Sydney went off as well, so clearly the cold tyres, something that's going to have to be factored in here at the start. A couple of people are going to be very nervous on the approach to turn. And look at this field spread as they come onto the main start grid. They're all sort of lining up side by side, so got to get themselves in the right grid position so that they can fend off or any attacks that they can make into turn one. But Sydney is just coming into his grid box now.
That's probably one of the most unorthodox formation laps I think I've ever seen. But everyone, as you say, is just about lining up. I think Keselow's his last to line up now. And yeah, he did that particular one.
Alright then, the 5 red lights are coming on here at Invictus for Portimao for the sprint. And the race is live here at Portimao. It's a good start from the Red Bull from Godspeed. He gets his wheel spin going, but he covers off the Ferrari beyond the ball. Into turn one they come. Brando's side by side with Louis. Louis there. There's a Sauber going a little bit sideways at the back. I think that's Ryan going backwards. And that is a Mercedes off the road. I think it's going to say it's Gabri. More contact in the background. There's an absolute melee going on. The two Saubers have crashed into each other and pushed Gattuso off the road. Absolutely chaos at the start. There's a Mercedes again off in the background. A nightmare for both Merc and JP9. But Sector 1 has been a mess already.
Yeah, JP was the kind of almost the innocent victim of trying to fall wide into turn 2. And didn't quite catch that to Merc. But yeah, as you say, he's dropped right back. And that's a McLaren driver, Sydney.
Yeah, Sydney off the road. Far off the road as well. Almost ending up in Spain at that point. He went that far wide, but he's back on track. Don't know if he's got any damage. Looks like he's got away scot-free with that, but the drivers will just have to dust themselves off and carry on. But it's got spooked at the front. That's going to be a warning for track limits, I'm sure, for got spooked. He cut the inside there of turn 14, thinking he's part Red Bull, part lawnmower. It's beyond the ball, then it's Brando, Louis and Jack in 5th place. Let's have a look at the data that we've got here. Got spooked, obviously setting the fastest lap of the race. He was first across the line. Jack up 2 spots. Ed Veer up 3 as well. But the top 6 making a little bit of a break for it already from Ed Veer in 7th.
Yeah, young Saab just having a little look at Kessler there, that was running out in space. But it hasn't been a small mistake to give it a short run up to turn 3, aiming to cover that one off there. So yeah, something great there. Louis and Jack look like they're second.
They are. On the outside was Jack. He didn't quite get alongside. He's going to try and do the switchback, but he doesn't have the traction to go alongside the Ferrari on the exit of turn 5. But this is a good opening run for Jack so far. He, in the thick of it last week, he finished in 6th place in the main race at Saudi. So here he is in the top 5, getting better and better. Top 6 are now nearly 2 seconds ahead of Ryan, who's got a stream of cars behind him all the way down to 13th. And there is the recovering Merc. Nice exit on the corner there into turn. Now he switches up the inside of Gattuso. Gattuso, is he going to leave him enough room? Just about. A little bit of wheel-to-wheel contact, but Merc is through.
Yeah, through indeed. He's got a lot of work to do to get up, and especially with the fact that Ryan is a racing ball actually here. I think has a young Sav side by side, but yeah, a long way to catch up. And with Ryan now that far behind the pack in front, I think they're just going to fall back. It's going to be difficult now for them to catch that group in front, and that's what we found last time. Once they got the DRS, he was kind of like just got away.
Big accident into turn 3. That's one of the RBs. Kez has broken the front wing. Edvia lost the back end effectively into turn 3. And it just caused the Constantina effect. Ashtube was affected by it. Gab, Reese, and Merck's gone backwards. I think he's got a broken front wing. Nightmare for the brand new champion of this season. He's going to have to do it all in the feature race. So that's a shame for him. But it gives everyone else, the door opens, opportunity knocks. And the two at the front have pulled away from Louis and Brando, who have been having a bit of a scrap.
Yeah, it's easy enough to do, as you say, that slight bit of scrapping, and it gives the guys in front that sort of breather, really. So yeah, it's sort of starting to split into different groups. Ryan seems to be well out on his own now after you say that turn 1. He's now got no one behind him, no one in front of him. But yeah, we've got the two at the front and a group of 4, and then another group of 4 slightly further behind. So yeah, the field does spread out here quite quick, especially fighting side by side in turn 1. And I think that's Jack round the outside of Schofield.
It looks like he's just about hanging on as the RB, and he stays in front of Scopefielder. But Scope will have a better momentum off turn 4. covering it well is Jack, very aggressive on the comeback to the right-hand side. Just about on the right side of legal, I would say, but Jack gets away with it and keeps hold of 5th position. We've got a number of cars in the pits from the front wings. That's their sprint race over and done with, unless any bad misfortune befalls the drivers in front of them and we get a safety car. But nevertheless, Jack and Schofield, nice driving between the two, just about clean enough, so let's hope they continue that. As Lee mentioned, Ryan on his own. Oh, that is, I think Edvi has had a little wobble on the exit there in sector 2. He's lost the spot to Sydney. Really under pressure from Gabri, who's down the inside at turn 10. Doesn't quite make it. And there's your first time penalty. And Brandon and Louis are now going at it from the penultimate corner. Louis hanging on at the moment. Jack's just watching in the wings, as is Scopefielder. But then all 4 of them are all together on the circuit pretty much. Louis is going to have to try and defend, as is Jack. Alongside they go. Brando's up to 3rd. And Scopefielder can't quite make it. That is great racecraft from Jack to stay in front. He's going to have to brake a little bit later than Louis, but he can't make it through yet. Great action so far in the sprint.
Yeah, good awareness there from Louis. I think he saw Jack coming in a little bit hot and big in space. He hit Louis down the inside of Brando as well. So just to change it out there. Good Jack following him through.
That is fabulous movement from Jack, really getting involved here. Brando's kind of just trying to attack and defend at the same time, but Brando stays in 4th position. He doesn't lose 2 spots, but as Lee, you've mentioned it earlier, if you start fighting, you're going to lose time. Look at that gap between 2nd and 3rd place. It's 4.5 seconds. That's going to be nigh on impossible now under normal race conditions for that to be brought back. There's a yellow flag. That's a few cars involved.
Yeah, someone facing the wrong way there.
Edvir.
Yeah, Edvir and Gabri, I think, is involved in that one.
Yeah.
So absolute carnage out there in the Algarve right now. But yeah, as you alluded to, Jack, Ryan as well, because of this battling with this group in front, I said there was no way he'd get back into this, but actually, as it stands, he is catching a fair rate of knots.
You never know. And with the way this is going, it could be a 5-car fight for 3rd place here, because Louis is just hanging on by his fingernails. Jack darting left and right towards turn 1, but he just can't get past Brando. I think Brando really wants to be the first driver to try and attack Louis if he makes a mistake in that Ferrari. Ryan not too far away. You've got 7 seconds back to Ash Tube. Gattuso's just been overtaken by JP, who's in the top 10. JP has it's like a battleground back there. JP's got a broken front wing, Gattuso's got a broken front wing, and everybody else behind them has been in the pits. So a bit of a messy sprint race, but that's because of the low tyre grip in this event, isn't it, Lee? It's not a permanent circuit on the Formula 1 calendar anymore, so the grip and the track level usage is a lot lower than normal circuits, so it's going to have an effect on them.
Yeah, it's as you say, it's a very difficult circuit. There's a good atmosphere here at the front between Bjorn de Boer and Got Spooked. I think Got Spooked, I looked earlier, Bjorn de Boer held the lead, but yeah, Got Spooked has got back past him since then. So those two having a good fight for the lead at the moment. But yeah, it's hard to watch then when we've got this battle for 3rd place at the moment between these 4, possibly seem to be 5 cars.
Yeah, here comes the Ferrari of Bjorn. As we say that, he goes into the lead. We cut back then to see how Louis and Cat Gang are getting on. Scopefield's gone past Jack, so Scopefield back into the top 5. The last point, that's a big slide through turn 1, nicely gathered from the Alpine, but he breaks a little bit too deep, and he's alongside his Jack, but it's such a difficult corner to try and switch back on because of the offside of camber on that left-hand part of the corner, so Jack's always going to be struggling to do it. Scope very deep, but he can't get past, can Jack? This is going to race to the end of the race, I guarantee it.
Yeah, very nearly colliding with the back of Brando in front as well, so yeah, good work from this in there. Yeah, as you say, that turn 4 is very difficult to make a lead just purely because there is no work on that corner, especially when these guys, imagine most of these guys are running zero traction control on it, and it does really affect the car. So like that from Jack there, I thought that's a warning for that one. So it's not going to help him when he's in pursuit of the guys in front.
No, and round here as well, it's so easy to pick up time penalties, so Jack can't really afford any more mistakes, otherwise he won't be really functioning in the fight for 3rd position. Since then, since these guys have kind of just about got their acts together a little bit, they have pulled away from Ryan, so it's going to be a lonely last few laps for him. but he does have Sydney some way behind, so he's not going to be entertaining any green Saubers anytime soon. Brando just looking again, a little bit of a sniff at Louis, but nothing it's doing into turn 1, letting the braking down into third gear. We're on board with Scope Fielder here, up the gears into turn 4. I noticed that Scope Fielder uses 4 through that left-hander, a little bit different to everybody else, but whatever works for him is going to be critical for being comfortable at this circuit. Jack right under the diffuser of that Alpine and using a bit of battery to hang on. I'm not going to say anything about battery usage, because just in case the drivers are listening, but I would say that 2 drivers here have got a lot of battery available to them and 2 of them don't, is how I would describe it.
Yeah, I think I would agree that's a pretty accurate description of what's going on right now. But yeah, here you go, Brando really close to the back of Louis. You could possibly see a 3 wide here. They're all close enough to each other. That this could actually be quite interesting down to 2 and 1.
Can we have a 3 in a bed moment? I'm sure Mal could be proud if we could. Just looking a little bit closer at the front. Got Spooked, is closing towards turn 1, but not quite close enough. Louis shaping a defensive move. Here comes Scopefielder. He's going to get boxed in though, and that's Brando now trying to go up the inside. They're leaving each other a little bit of racing room into turn 4. Brakes a little bit later, and Louis again hanging on to that final place on the sprint podium, but a snap of oversteer for the Ferrari man. Is Brando going to deploy the ERS? He's got the ERS wide open. Battery doesn't look like it's being used, and he didn't really commit to the corner, and Louis stays in front.
Yeah, you do wonder whether or not Brando is maybe thinking for the last lap, trying to get him on the pit straight going into the final lap. I think Jack had a massive snap of sympathy oversteer there with Louis on turn 4. Did very well to save it. Did end up in the run. Oh, that's a hell of a move from Jack at the inside, but
no, it was a nice opportunity. He's going to try it again into the left-hander here at turn 12. He bounces over the curb, but just about survives it and doesn't make contact with Scope. Jack really pushing the absolute limits of that RB, but it's kind of cost him a bit of time, so he's not going to feature on this lap. Here comes Got Spooked towards turn 1. He's not using the battery, so he stays behind for the time being. Louis still holding on to third position. Then it's Brando with the rear wing wide open, the number 7 trying to get up the inside, maybe into turn 3. No, he's not far enough. Louis locking the rear tyres. Got to be careful of that. Already seen one driver lose the back end under braking. Don't want to make it 2 and have another pile up. In the meantime, whilst that's been going on, just to make a quick mention that Keza and Young Sav, who have now been joined by Merck, have been having a lovely fight down in 12 minutes. It's a Tuso, yeah.
Tuso in the pit, so damage, so yeah, definitely getting that replaced. Honestly, all the tracer things are setting up as well before coming to the race.
Here comes Jack again. Oh, there's contact between Jack and Scopefielder, and that has ruled them out of the podium fight. And Ryan going to sneak through too. In truth, I was on board with Jack. I think it was just a coming together. I don't think there was any particular malice involved, but those two have had an incident. Here comes Got Spooked for the lead. As Lee alluded to, he's going to set it up as Spooked, and he's up the inside and into the lead of the race. Can Brando copycat his teammates? I don't think he's close enough.
No, he's too far back, isn't he? I'm not sure what's happened there.
Ryan's stolen fifth just as that happened.
Yeah, sneaks into the points there right at the end of the race. So yeah, hopefully he can hold that. Jack is still close to him though, so he wouldn't rule that one out as being over just yet.
Here comes Brando. This is his moment. He's got to send it now on the inside. They give each other enough room. It's all about the traction. Brando leaves Louis out to dry on the curb, and that's good racecraft from the Red Bull, and it's a 1-3 for the team from Milton Keynes. Ryan is hanging on. He's almost going to get a point just from sticking it on the circuit. He'll be delighted, but he's got a few more corners left to go. Back at the front, Got Spooked is 2 tenths clear of Bjorn. This is going to be close.
Yeah, we've seen Jack go for moves, so will he go for it again? No, he doesn't actually go for moving to this one again. So tries not to go for it. Maybe he's going to try and hopefully get for him get Ryan on the quick straight on the lap. But yeah, got to come in from the corner.
He is indeed. Can he hang on? Bjorn's right there with him. He's using all the battery, but it's got spooked. He's going to take the victory here for the sprint. Brando, I think, is going to hold on. Louis depleted all of his battery. That's game and done for him. Jack, no battery left. Ryan's going to take 5th place for the sprint, rounded out by Jack, Scopefielder. Those two will have something to say about their incident, but realistically, I think it was just a coming together. It just happened. I don't think there was anyone's particular fault. Sydney there in 8th place. It'll be Ash in 9th, and JP, the lead Mercedes, in 10th place, followed by everyone else who pitted.
Yeah, there's a lot of action that in a very short space of time, wasn't it? So quite impressive stuff. There was some excellent racing, and yeah, some unusual names further down the list to what we're used to.
Yeah, I mean, one such name is obviously going to be both Merckx and JP9. I know that Gattuso's got some speed as well, but he just got caught up in those incidents earlier on in the race. A few unserved 10-second time penalties. Gabri drops to 15th as a result. The number 99, formerly driven by Antonio Giovinazzi, otherwise known as the Italian Jesus to some people, but channeling that inner spirit of the long-haired man is Gabri. He finishes 16th in the end. Driver of the day, according to the sprinters, the McLaren there. So there's some little bonus points of respect for the McLaren team. And Lee, if you want to run us through the results, that'd be great.
Absolutely, yeah. So Gottfried takes the win by less than a tenth from Bjorn the Boar, with Brando 3rd and Louis 4th. Ryan in 5th, Jack 6th, Scopefielder 7th, and Sydney 8th. Astrid 9th, JP 10th. So the teammate of JP Merckx in 11th, with Heather, Young Sal, Tuso, Edbeer, and Gabri rounding the
Well, considering that last night apparently the racing action was not entirely sensational in terms of action on circuit, Portimao does tend to lend itself towards, excuse me, my apologies, does tend to lend itself towards a bit more of a procession. That was an exciting race, and we've got a bit of overcast weather going on. Could we see a bit of rain?
Yeah, it's well, I mean, this is obviously for your one-shot quali again now for the main race, so obviously it cleared up quite a lot last time for the main race, but fingers crossed, get a bit of variety. A bit of rain would spice it up a little bit, but there's plenty of spice in that one already.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, in terms of real life Formula One, we do remember that time when it rained at Portimao, and we saw I think they were branded as Alfa Romeos at the time, when I think it was Kimi Raikkonen decided to have a little venture out up front on intermediates and having their time in the sun. Obviously, as Lee's noted there, it is the next set of qualifying for the feature race. Starts in less than 30 seconds, so we'll see how the drivers can adapt to the conditions. For some drivers, Lee, and I'm asking you as a driver and as obviously technically reigning champion, when it comes to sprints in between the qualifying sessions, do you think drivers get quicker between the quali sessions, or do you feel that they might lose a little bit of qualifying edge?
Yeah, I mean, last night, taking last night as an example, my second quali session, I was a second faster, but started a place lower than the sprint race. So, yeah, I think just that familiarity from doing the sprint race, it gives you that advantage when you get to that second quali session. But I think everyone is pretty much in that same boat.
Well, the drivers are now on their flying laps, and at the moment we've got Bjorn at the front, headed towards the first sector beam. He's gone past that. I've got to say, in terms of ERS management, Bjorn definitely using his a little bit different to the drivers around him. I've got the tyre deltas on the screen. I've also, of course, got the ERS battery on the screen for the viewers to have a look at. If you are watching, there's quite a few of you. Hello, say hello in the chat if you can. Do give this stream a like if you can as well. That'd be really good to get your thoughts on who you might think's going to win today's feature race here at Portimao. But Bjorn de Boer got spooked, having a real tussle over this pole position.
Yeah, sticking pretty tight. Merck's a little bit down, but not as bad as the first one. JP also right at the back. I think maybe his spin in the first one-shot qualies maybe put him off a little bit all this session. But no invalidations just yet.
Well, there we go then towards the line. Is it going to be got spooked? No, it's Bjorn de Boer who nicks it by 300ths of a second. A Ferrari takes a pole position. The man who, of course, finished in 10th place last week, he got involved, all the carnage did the Ferrari man, has got a pole position. The Dutch driver is P1. Lee, take us away.
Yeah, thanks. So Bjorn de Boer on pole position, he's got spooked second. Merckx slightly more where you'd expect in there, third on the grid with Brando in fourth. Sydney fifth and Young Sal actually sixth for him with Louis seventh and Ashley eighth. Ryan ninth in second, 10th, Skip Miller 11th, Hazard 12th, Ed in 13th, JP 14th, so 15th, and Gabri rounds out the grid in 16th place.
1.8 seconds covering the entirety of the field. Very competitive tonight, which is what we like to see. 9 drivers within a second of pole position. So can all change in the race. We don't know what the weather's going to be like. We're not quite certain what the forecast is going to be. But this has got the hallmarks of potentially, if it's going to be anything like the sprint anyway, could really demonstrate some good class action. And I think depending on what tier you're in, if you're competing in Invictus racing, each action on the night when you're watching Invictus, for those that are subscribed, it's great to see that you are. If you watch this every time the boys race and the girls race, whether it's in tier 2, tier 1 RP, you get different types of action on every single track. Tier 1's so fiercely competitive in terms of speed. Sometimes it can be like a track like Canada where it can be quite a simple straight race, whereas as tier 2 it can be a lot more chaotic. But tonight, I think we've got a little bit more chaos, haven't we?
Yeah, and I think the low grip, as we said before, the low grip of the circuit probably maybe is a factor in that, and the fact that these guys in this tier, you know, they're the quickest guys in the league, and they are pretty much on the ragged edge the entire race. So it leaves it open for those slight mistakes, and I think when you're pushing that hard, slight mistakes become big mistakes very, very quickly. So yeah, I think that probably maybe is what sort of contributes to it. But yeah, hopefully, I mean, not for the drivers themselves, I'm sure won't be hoping for it, but I think as commentators and spectators, a repeat of the action from the sprint would be pretty welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. We all want to see a lot of action. We want to see overtakes. We want to see mistakes from some of our drivers. Not anyone in particular, by the way. I'm not biased or anything. No, neither of us are in the comms box. But we do like to see drivers pushing themselves to the limits, and that's what it's all about with league racing, is to get everybody competing at their best of their ability. Even if you are watching and you're brand new to Invictus and you're thinking, oh, I might not be that quick, that's okay. We have a lot of people here who can help you get moving forward, develop your skills, and fundamentally have fun, because that's what racing is all about. So come along, have a good time, have some fun, and if you're really good, win some races.
Yeah, definitely. It's as you say, it's sort of caters for everyone really in this league, and yeah, we've seen, me and George have mentioned it before, seen progression from certain drivers, and I know we've harped on about it many times before, but Louis is a prime example in this tier. Started off in tier 3 and is now at the front end of tier 1. So yeah, it's there's progression to be had, and I think the only way you get that progression is from racing, you know, maybe guys that are slightly quicker than you, and from that you learn sort of techniques from them, and that's what helps you go along.
That we do. Right, we have the lights coming on for the formation lap, and off they go, so hopefully no issues there. Just to add, as another prime example for progression for drivers, Lucas Blaha, he's not racing tonight, but tier 3 champion 2 seasons ago, tier 2 champion last season, and now he's in tier 1. So, you know, you can make those steps forward. Looking though at the current action on circuit, we have practically everybody has gone for the mediums, bar Ryan, Jack and Gattuso, who have elected for the softs.
Yeah, so last night the suggested strategy was soft to medium. Oh my god, someone binned it at the back into, I think it's Ed Veer crashed at turn 4, but fortunately for him, in the formation lap, you do keep your car park, so he's got away with that one. Personally I ran a medium to soft last night, pretty unsuccessfully, but a lot of other people did run that. We did also see people go medium hards as well, so it'd be interesting to see what these medium runners especially opt for at the middle part of the race.
Yeah, that'll be key, really. I mean, there's all the strategies on the screen for you to have a look at. Soft to mediums can go to the end, or medium to hard is potentially a strategy. I have seen drivers do medium to soft as well, so let's not rule that out. Ed Veer has joined the back of the train, so he's, like Lee said, kept all of his car parts, which is fortunate. James Vowles doesn't need another bill. He's had enough of those from a certain American earlier on through this year. So Ed can rejoin the grid slots. He should be fine. I mean, he could re-overtake if he wanted to, but he's elected to be a good kid and decided to just stay at the back. I'm getting excited for this. I feel that Portimao is a really good circuit. If you're smart with strategy, you can make a lot of time up here. If I was competing in the race, if it were me, I'd go mediums, try and run them as long as I can, and then wait for a safety car and then respond to it like that. So I think me and Lee would probably run a similar strategy by the sounds of it.
Yeah,
as an RB off the road.
Yeah. Absolute carnage has started already in this race. But yeah, as I said, that was my tactic last night, was to go mediums and hope for a safety car, which never came, and that was all she wrote pretty much. So yeah, but here we go. Race, I would say race 2. This is not the touring cars, but here's the main race.
Okay then, we got the 5 red lights here at Portimao for the feature, and the race is live, and here we go towards turn 1. Let's look at that start from Bjorn de Boer. We lights up the wheels. He's got spooked alongside him, but they stay in position. Brando's there, then it's Merck. The Ferrari and McLaren side by side of young Sav and Louis, they survive for the time being. We're on board with Ryan. There's carnage at the back. That's Jack, who's gone backwards, has broken front wing end plates. Louis had a wobble on the exit of turn 4. I'm not sure if you saw what had gone on. Oh, and that's, I think Jack's gone round again at turn 4. No, he's held it. He's carried on, but Jack, the biggest victim of that melee, and Louis gone even further down.
Yeah, Jack actually did catch the rear end, the rear tyre of the car in front, but did hold that. But then as he went into turn 3, he got hit from behind, but spun him round. So not sure he was spun round, but yeah, unfortunately Jack is right at the back now. Not sure what sort of damage he has. He looks like he's all in one piece, so fingers crossed he can catch the back of the pack.
Someone's end plate definitely went, so we'll have to have a scan through. But Bjorn de Boer hanging onto the rear of the car there as he went into turn number 12. He just about got away with that. I say 12, mean turn 13. But Got Spooked is already hunting him down. He's in the wheel tracks of the Ferraris, underneath the diffuser. He pulls out, but has he got the straight line speed to go past Bjorn? I don't think he has. They're still side by side, and that's a safety car. What has gone on there?
Well, okay, so yeah, it was Ed Veer who had the end plate missing. He's gone to come in the pit as Louis was down the right hand side of him. They've collided, which has sent Louis into the wall and into the pits involuntarily. Luckily now, obviously, he's getting his wing changed, but he didn't want to be in that, but that's where he's ended up.
Well, Louis' race start has gone from bad to worse. He'd qualified in 7th, he's now 16th. He's down 9 spots, so I'm sure Fred Vasseur will be having a go at James Vowles later on over tea tonight. I'm sure those two like to dine out. Jack and Gabri are swapping places briefly on circuit. That was a bit weird, but they carry on as usual. One thing I didn't mention during that race start, Brando got a great start. He's actually got past Mercked in all of that, so they've swapped places. So I'm sure Brando will be delighted.
Yeah, it's good stuff that from Brando. It'd be interesting to see how Merck, how he feels about this ticket. We found last night, Ruddo, obviously, I believe, Tier 2 champion. I don't think it's been officially announced, but I think everyone is fully aware that unless he gets the season ban and gets any points deducted, then he should be okay. and that's not likely to happen. So he struggled last night in the main race. I think it's just one of those circuits where just some people who maybe do well at most circuits just don't get on particularly well round this one.
I think it's because of the characteristics of the track, isn't it? What's gone on there between the Saubers?
Well, yeah, Ryan did a very late dash into the pits there, and unfortunately for him, picked up a 10-second penalty for speeding while doing so. So I think it was a very late decision to maybe come in for the hards for basically what is a free stop, and that's what he's gone on to. But unfortunately, he picked up a 10-second penalty in the process, which he'll have to serve again.
And am I right in saying he can't serve that under safety car as well?
I think he can serve it under safety car, but because he picked it up coming into the pits, he was unable to
serve it at that point.
It on that particular stop. Yeah, so yeah, unfortunately for him, that's going to probably drop him right to the back of the pack, but he'll do well to come in and get rid of that.
I don't think it's a bad strategy though, because Gattuso's done the same thing. He started on the soft tyres, he's gone to the hards. The hards should last 30 laps around here, like you mentioned before, Lee. It's a low degradation circuit. There's not much thermal heat that goes into the tyres. There's not much strain on the tyre wear. I mean, really, it's the last corner in turn 1 where the load is going into the tyres, and you could argue as well, to be fair, turn 10. So for these 3 corners, that's where the hard tyre is going to get pressed. But other than that, that could be a good call, depending on how quick they are through this race, if there's no safety cars.
I think it's probably a risk I would have taken, even if we're starting on the mediums. I think I'd probably gone for it, just on the off chance it works. And if it doesn't work, okay, then you've still got options to maybe go to a soft later in the race if you feel you can. So yeah, a bit interesting that many people have gone for it, and Jack especially being on those softs. I mean, he's going to have to pit anyway on those softs. Feigning from the pit, but I think that's going to be until the 10-second penalty.
Yeah, he's going to get that out of the way. He will drop to the back of the field, but he is going to be 4th of the hard tyre runners, who will probably get a leap on the rest of the field, because obviously the pit lane speed limiter down here at Portugal, as he serves his time penalty in the pits. Obviously no work can be done on the car, but the pit lane speed down here and the length of the pit lane is going to contribute to quite a long stop. But Ryan has changed tyres. Now, did he mean to do that?
I think the game automatically does it for you. I don't think there's the option to not change tyres, is there? So I would assume with the medium, probably be open, but the game probably puts him on his car automatically. So yeah, the idea to come in the pits for those hards was a sound idea, but now he's on the mediums. He's going to have to pit again. I think his only hope, and it's a very thin hope at that, I think, is that Portugal doesn't come in this lap. But I think, to be honest, it's going to be coming in this lap.
Yeah, I think it will, to be honest, unless he doesn't drive fast enough. He can tactically play that game.
I was thinking that myself, but I didn't want to suggest.
I'm sure Ryan wouldn't do that. Safety car is in this lap anyway, so that has curtailed any notion of Ryan being able to potentially rig the safety car, and Burn Mylander is going to peel into the pits. Now, when does Got Spooked put his foot down? Lee, if it was you, where would you go?
Home, probably, if I was but I think realistically, because of the length of the straight, you want to go as late as you possibly can. Just the risk of getting drafted down to turn 1 is quite high. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he waits till almost the last chance as he comes out of this quarter.
Yeah, I don't blame Got Spooked if he decides to do that, which it looks like he is going to. He's weaving left to right, trying to put as much heat into the tyres as he can, and he's gone. That's a relatively decent start from the front too. They've got a little bit of an advantage over Brando, but Got Spooked leads us away then. There's a bit of a gap back actually to Ed, so Ed's been caught out down in 13th place, but Got Spooked is comfortably in the lead at turn 1. It's Brando, it's Merck, then it's Sydney, Young Sav, Ash Tube, Scope, Keza. Whoa, a lot of smoke going on there, and that's a huge accident, and that's going to surely be a safety car. No, it's a VSC.
Makes zero sense. That was, yeah, so
Jack, yeah.
Yeah, retired. Unfortunately for him, it looked like he hopped a curb slightly at turn two, collided with the side of another car. I didn't see who it was, and it's just sent him across the inside into cars at the exit of turn three. So, totally unintentional from Jack there. Just unfortunately the way the car got pinged off the other car, and he just had no control over that.
Oh, absolute nightmare. He just, once you go onto the grass, you are a passenger as well. So that's such a shame. He'd done a really good sprint race at Jack, but sadly that is that for Jackman. So he's going to have to go into the RB garage, say hello to Daniel Ricciardo on the way out, and go from there. We are under VSC. Ash Tube's got damage as a result of that. I think Scope has as well. So they're going to have to go back in the pits, and Gabri gets a drive-through penalty for speeding during the VSC, so that's his race even more awkwardly run and done for him. But the top six are away, and Gattuso, on those hard tyres, is in prime position for later on in the race.
Yeah, he's in excellent position in seventh place, and with the guys in front, they're all quite tight together. A bit of a lock-up there for someone into turn three. But if the guys in front start to fight, he may catch them. But I think Gattuso there, finding at turn three, just how hard it is on these hard tyres. And they do a massive understeer, and now trying to warm them up down to turn five.
Yeah, so that's Ash Tube who's retired in the pits, so that's game over for the Sauber driver. Top six are away at the moment. Oh, young Sam with a horrible amount of understeer there, going towards turn 7. Not quite sure what happened. That seemed really bizarre, but he saved it and he's in the train, and that's where he needs to stay. Then Gattuso's now got a group of cars behind him, so he's got to try and not fight them too hard. But as we know, this is Gattuso. He does like to put his elbows out, so let's see if the Alpine can make the Viry plant proud as young Sav goes past Sydney, who I think has made a little mistake, and they need to get back in that DRS window, otherwise it's curtains for them.
Yeah, definitely. As you say, okay, big change to Gabri. He actually came in, if he was safety car in, he came in the pit to serve his driver, but it didn't enable him to do that, so he's coming in just for a stand. The pit still has his license to serve.
That's a shame for him. Bjorn and was looking at a move for turn 1, then on Gottsboot, didn't get through, but Merck did get past Brando. Whoa, that is Gattuso, and that is Ryan again. There's been more issues on the exit of turn 2 and 3. And look at the amount of time that they've lost. There's so much carnage that has gone on there. That's Louis trying to go around the outside. Actually, Brett and Gattuso's running them off the road, so I'm sure Lou won't be pleased with that. It's 3 wide. That's never going to work. And Gattuso's in the wall. How he's not broken anything, I don't know. And that's Keza going round, or Louis, or somebody in particular. Ryan goes past Louis. There's no grip on those hard tyres, but they're fighting so hard that it's caused them to lose heaps of time to the drivers in front. 7 seconds between Keza now, who's up 7th, compared to Sydney in 6th.
Yeah, a big slide there for Edby. Yeah, you'd be forgiven for mistaking that. Oh, that's a bit contact there between Ed and DP.
Yeah.
Got the switchback. Ed just driving him off the road. You'd be forgiven for mistaking this as the early release of Rec Class 2 right now. Pretty chaotic out there. None of it intentional. It's just the road grip, the hard tyres. It's pretty bonkers. And you're saying Gattuso was in a great position. He's now got a 10-second penalty. He's back in 13th.
Yeah, absolutely. The Portimao is just the wheel of fortune wherever you want to be. At the front, I've got Spooked and Bjorn de Boer. Bjorn had got past, but got Spooked on the curve. He's managed to find some traction out there on the AstroTurf. He's going to be on the inside, and they just about leave each other enough room. Ryan is back in front of Keza just whilst that's going on, and thankfully in the top left corner that yellow flag safety car warning beam has now gone off. Sorry for anyone who had epilepsy, but that's not a nice thing to see. And Bjorn de Boer is in the lead. Got Spooked is second. Merck just shadowing his way around in 3rd position. He will just watch and wait before he makes any moves. That's how calculating the drivers' champion for Tier 1 is. Brando and the two McLarens are just hanging on. to the back of this lot, they could just sit in the wheel tracks and maybe try and do an undercut later on. Ryan is now at the front of the train, consisting of Keza and Louis and JP, who are all just about hanging on to DRS with one another. And what did I say about Merckx? Almost making his way through.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to get that done, and I don't know if I caught that right, but it almost looked like he was going to go for first as well. But
Yeah.
At the back out of it, and I think Brando just carried on outside of him, but hell of a battle in this top six. There is nothing between them, and you could pick a winner from any of these. Having said that, Louis, he's only 10 seconds behind the group. He doesn't have to pit again.
No.
He's kind of the net race leader, but you have to feel that when the guys on the big side lead on high, you have to feel that when the other guys come in for pits, that the tyres are going to be on so much of an advantage to what Louis will be on, that maybe that the race won't quite go his way towards the end.
Yeah, to recall on past experience, I remember when I was racing around here a number of seasons back, I decided to take the hard tyre longer than those that had pitted earlier, and I got overtaken, and they were catching about a second to a second and a half a lap at that point. So it could happen for Louis. He could still get an excellent results. There's still all to play for. Typically at Portimao you lose about 26 seconds in the pit stop, so at the moment he's going to come out in front by about, let's have a look at the leader time, he's 11 seconds back, 12 and a half seconds back rather I should say. Oh, where's the contact?
Got Spook just tapped the back end of beyond the door Ferrari, got him sideways, and Merckx got the inside
That is as close as you dare. Spook squeezing as much as he can and kind of helping Brando here to go around the outside of Merckx at turn number 5. They lean on each other again. Brando's going to have the traction. It's all about the battery pack now. Who can deploy it? He's still on the inside at 7. They still leave each other enough room at turn 8. Can they survive through this? Yes, they can. But Merckx stays in front.
Yeah, have a bit of teamwork. You have to feel like with teamwork. You've got Spook and Brando there to try and get Brando up to first. Ed Veer with a spin at turn 4. So yeah, he's got back as well now.
Yeah, he spun in the safety formation lap there, didn't he, as well, Ed? So clearly turn 4 his nemesis this evening. Whilst that was going on, whilst he was talking, young Sam nearly had a little dive up the inside of Marlon for 4th place, but that didn't happen. But in any case, we do have these top 6 having a great scrap at the moment. It's really, really entertaining to watch. Then you've got Ryan and Keza in a little fight of their own. I think Keza's got a broken front wing, actually. I just want to see this. Yeah, he has. So Keza's fighting a big battle as best as he can. The top 6 still nose to tail all together. That's good to see. JP, Louis rounding out the top 10. Scope and Gattuso rounding out the point scorers. Ed in 13th place as the drivers start shaping up a couple of moves, but it's going to be hard going into turn number 5.
I don't think young South needs his race car desire, but it's super high.
It's a really good take.
This could go anywhere really right now with this top 6, and Ryan's not dropping too far off the back. He's on slightly fresher mediums, obviously slightly forced by the pit stop with the 10-second penalty that will be. Keza's right on him as well. Keza having a good race actually. He didn't really enjoy it last night in Tier 2, but seems to have woken up today for Tier 1 and shown some pretty good pace.
Yeah, up from 12th place is Keza, JP up from 14th, so those two putting the moves in, and maybe a little race stint from last night for Keza's just kind of got him into the window where he wants to be for Tier 1. Got Spook now deciding he wants to try and make a move to turn 1, but Merck's going to go for it as well. It's almost 3 wide. They have contact into turn 1, but they survive it. Goodness me, they get away with it. Got Spook, goes into the lead. Brando's up the inside of Bjorn de Boer for turn 3. He's going to be on the outside for turn 4. Bjorn's going to run him just enough wide. Brando has the traction out of turn 4, and the Red Bull sneaks into 3rd as Merck nearly runs into the back of his compatriot, but rival for P1, and Sydney goes past young Sam. It all just blew up in 6 corners.
Yeah, absolutely mad stuff. Merck, we didn't comment on how he's real calm and measured.
Yeah.
I think now he's won this championship. he really doesn't need to worry about that. He can just race flat out. Doesn't matter what happens. And that move in turn one, I think, is possibly a sign of that being the case.
Yeah, he's got his elbows out, and Mercedes, otherwise known as Merc, as we shall abbreviate it, it's actually quite appropriate in terms of the car he's driving, is not pulling his punches tonight at Portimao. Beautiful circuit, obviously. It's been open since a long time, I think. I believe 2008 was when it first came around, but Got Spooked is leading, but not for much longer. Merc is in the lead, and it makes it a Red Bull 2-3. We have a nice calm turn 1 and 2 there. That's nice to see from the top 6, first time in about 13 laps they've been able to do that, as Keza goes through on Ryan, who has a snap of oversteer. They're going to be side by side into turn 3. The Sauber on the inside, and I'm going to just cut forward because Got Spooked back up the inside of Merc. A little bit of contact between the two. I'm going to ride on board with Brando. They're wheel to wheel into turn 6, then 7. Merc's got the inside. They're still together. Get Spooked is on the outside for turn 8. He should have the traction. They're still side by side over the bridge of the hill. Merc's going to have a good run into 9, and that's a little wiggle from the Red Bull, and Merc gets it sealed into 10, and Bjorn is there as well on Brando, but I think Brando should just about hold it on the inside for 12, which he does.
See the balance is sat at the back of the street, waiting for it all to kick off, aren't they, I think, pretty much, and to take advantage of that. But in these top 4, they're very good at racing like this and not having incidents. So, the McLarens may have to start to get involved in this themselves soon.
And that's Brando. Well, I did say before about the undercut, whether anyone would try and do it in this group because of how hard they're fighting, but one thing I will say is that Merc is now at the front, and we know he could set a very good pace. So if he can keep his distance to the cars behind, that might not be as advantageous as you realise. But we shall see. Brando onto the hard tyres, and he should come out with a bit of clean air. But I'm just watching where it's... Oh, that's Bjorn and Got Spooked. Tight together at turn number 5. They get away with that. Where is Brando? He is in front of that fight, just.
Yeah, I think the Tuso actually been quite generous there. I think he had the chance to get past Brando, and then he felt that he's not in that fight, so he's kind of let him go, really. It's a shame. I mean, Louis is now 8 seconds ahead of Brando. You have to feel that the 12-lap deficit of tyres, Brando should catch that up before the end of the race. But interesting to see, as Louis is having a big slide there, interesting to see that Brando has gone to the hard tyres for low movement.
Well, let's see if that pays off for him. Merc is he's really pushing his Merc, but he just can't pull away from Got Spooked. He will want to come back and fight him, but he's got Bjorn all over that rear wing, which is now open on the Red Bull. He's closing the gap down, but I don't think he's going to try and make a move into turn 1. He doesn't. He stays behind the Mercedes. The 2 McLarens still there, but they're all carrying on. So Brando's undercut is going to be quite impressive.
Yeah, definitely an advantage. I think if this tactics maybe, or it is going to face tactics, maybe he's trying to stay behind Merc and get the undercut. But actually, he's going to move into turn 5, but we already know that Merc's going to get better traction out of there yeah, as you say, Brando's going to gain massively, especially now he's got a bit of clean air. I think he could see him leading this group of cars on time I've been put.
Yeah, absolutely. Bjorn is right there as well. I've just had a little look at the gap. It's 26 seconds between Brando and the leader. So I think one thing that I've just noticed about Brando is that he's still not cleared Gattuso, and some drivers, I'm not saying that this is Brando, he's actually just managed to gap Gattuso now to DRS, but some drivers can get a little bit nervous when others are behind and might not be able to get the power down as quickly as they'd like for the first lap or two, just whilst they're settling into a rhythm. So see if Brando can start to get any time gains back. He still hasn't, to be honest. He's looks like he's still lapping at the similar pace to the leaders. Whoever Got Spooked is going to play tactically, like Lee said, and just slot him behind and work together to keep that gap low. But I don't think he's playing tactically, is he? Got Spooked on the inside. at turn 5. They're side by side. He's trying that move again, but Merck is always going to get the traction off that corner. And he's back in front.
Yep, it's carbon copy. The boost on a bit wide there, actually, into that one there. We've got Spook managed to get that back up. I think Ewan got ahead of him. Yeah, as I say, keep in mind Brando's gap. It's hovering around 26.5 seconds, isn't it? He's not been able to warm those high tires up and get used to that. And yeah, the Tutor, he's had 13 laps on those tires, so he's kind of used to he knows what they're going to do. I think Brando's possibly going through that phase now of learning what the tires are.
That makes the race winners, doesn't it, in terms of how quickly you can adapt to the tyres, and Brando is still not gaining any time. It's still hovering at that gap, so maybe the early undercut is not going to work in the way that Brando would have hoped. Still a long time to go yet in this race. We've only just crossed the halfway mark. The McLarens are just hanging on to the front three. In fact, young Sam, as I say, that's just popped out of DRS there, so I wonder if either of those two would think about maybe just making a pit stop now and get some clear air, get a new set of tyres on, because they're just hanging onto the edges of that DRS train. As young Sam has a big snapper, that's going to be not hanging on anymore. That is gapped.
Yeah, 1.8 now off the back of his teammates, so that's not ideal for him. I think now would be a good time for him to come in the pits, but you'd actually also have to think that now we're just over halfway through this race, it's pretty much a bang on halfway right now. These guys are all going to get soft out. I think the whole top 5 are going to be going for soft out.
Which could be a great call, it could be a great strategy call for them. Because at the moment, Brando's losing time. It's now a second since 2 laps ago, so Brando is going to be in a world of pain later on when he decides to get a move on and close this gap down when he's able to with the tyres. So maybe that's not the right strategy, but having said that, young Sav is in the pit, so I'm assuming he will go for hards.
Outside chance of going for the soft tyres though, but and it is soft tyres indeed for the McLaren driver, so still aggressive. He's going to be struggling towards the end of the race, but obviously he feels after that mistake, I think this is his chance to now get that time back.
And he's going to come out as well in front of Brando, and it's going to be not entirely comfortable on the exit of turn 2. Here comes Brando. He's going to be on the inside at 3, but is he brave enough? He is brave enough is the answer, and he gets in front, and Sav will be annoyed at... Ooh, is he going to let him back through? I wonder if Brando let him back through because he made a, what I would describe as a push the pass overtake.
I just wonder whether or not that was just evidence of how much Brando's struggling to gain the hard tyres. Young Sav looks very comfortable there, taking the inside line, get a yellow flag. That looks like the Ferrari. Really just regaining the road.
Yeah, he's got no damage. I wonder if he's just lost it on the exit of turn... I'm going to say it's going to be turn number 8, isn't it, through that complex. Got spooked in the pits.
Yeah, as I said, I think it's got to be soft tyres now for all these guys that are pit from here on in. And you got to do soft tyres onto the Red Bull. It'd be interesting to see where he comes out now in relation to young Sav. Young Sav having that extra lap on those soft tyres.
Young Sav has also blitzed Brando, so it's clearly evident, isn't it, that the hard tyres are just not working. Got spooked is out in front of Sav. I think he's going to be a bit further ahead of Sav because of the McLaren falling behind Brando and losing a bit of time, so I see that gap, but it'll just come down a little bit more while Spook gets his tyres into the temperature window. 2.7 seconds, that sounds about right. He was about 2 seconds behind Got Spook when he pitted, so that little moment of those 4 corners have cost young Sav in terms of closing onto the DRS train again, but he's still in it, still a long way to go because the other guys have still got a pit yet. He might yet regain the DRS train from those guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Sydney struggling with the tyres and his McLaren now a bit of sideways there in sector 3. But really, I think this is probably the best performance we've seen from Sydney this season. And he's doing a fantastic job. He's showing good pace throughout the season, but this is by far his best performance.
Yeah, it's a really good demonstration of speed from him so far. He got 4th last week in Jeddah, did Sydney. I know that it was a different type of race last week because of the incidents and safety cars that went on. He took advantage then, but really nice to see him in the podium fight. Whether he will remain there, we shall see. But the front three have carried on. Young Sav, new fastest lap of the race, has got spooked, goes past Louis. So in theory, we have a new net leader, which would be the Red Bull. And what have we just seen there?
Alright, Young South doing a bit of drifting through turn 1. He's held it incredibly well, but had a fair amount of opposite lock on. Didn't really actually seem to cost him much time, which is quite impressive. But yeah, very much pushing that car to its limits and possibly beyond.
Got to be careful with that as Sav, because he doesn't want to take too much out of the tyres so early on. He's got to try and nurse them. But I think young by nature, young by name, he's going to do what he wants, as he has another little opposite lock correction on the exit of turn 8. But nice to see him really giving it good guns. Got Spook's going to get another toe of DRS from Scope Fielder. And Merck is in, Sydney is in, Bjorn carries on.
Yeah, Bjorn looked like he was shaking to come in the pit. It's usually been Merck someone who changes his mind if I was doing the opposite from the Bjorn. And yeah, this will be interesting now. Obviously, the way got Speed and Young Sav had up the time. I think he's got Speed in the pit here.
Yeah.
See exactly where he comes out. I think he's going to come out ahead.
He should do. He's got DRS as well just to help him along. Merck's coming out the pits now and he's going to see the Red Bull fly off into the distance. Young Sav is going to be a bit further back. Sydney's there. Louis has emerged behind Merck, so Merck can be happy with that. But that's a bit of a gap between Merck and Scope Fielder. That's 2.5 seconds. Add a second on and that's where Got Spooked is. So that undercut has worked quite nicely for the Red Bull.
Yeah, it's done well, hasn't it? And because what Bjorn de Boer does here, I don't think the undercut is maybe working quite as powerfully as we thought it might. It's taken people a while to get used to the grip of the tire, but I'm fully expect to see Bjorn de Boer coming in the pits pretty much at the end of this lap. I think any longer would be a silly move potentially, and enable the others to get ahead of him. But yeah, I think as he comes in here.
Yeah, there he goes. The Ferrari, the race leader, is into the pits. Let's see if the Scuderia can service him nicely. Just to let you know as well, for those that are watching, whenever I go on board with someone in the pit lane, my controller vibrates as they change tyres. Completely ineffective effect, considering I'm not on track. Ryan carries on. He's going to get his time in the sun. He's got medium tyres on, see how long that they can last. But Bjorn is going to come out, I think, behind Merckx. Yeah, he's going to slot into that gap just in front of Sydney, but the overspeed from the McLaren won't be enough to get him into turn 3. So Bjorn de Boer goes from the lead to what would technically be a net 3rd place. But Ryan has 5 seconds on everybody so far, so let's see if his safety car can help him out.
Yeah, because Ryan does obviously, in theory, by mathematically and by the law, he doesn't have to come in the pits again, I don't think. He definitely has 2 different seconds.
Yeah, he has, yeah.
To higher time for a lap on the safety car. But I think there's no reason. I think taking the lead will be pretty spectacular, so at least, and yeah, he's going to get a bit of a scoop anyway, I think. But, yeah, this is the danger, I think, of this circuit now. It's spread out a little bit with these slightly different pit stop strategies. Just to see whether it will come together again towards the end of the race. And Sydney is telling himself struggling to get past the opening pit surface. As I said, he's got to run out of the next win.
Well, he does. Scope Fielder isn't going to fight this too hard. He just lets the McLaren go. And I think Young Sav, providing that, well, to be honest with you, I think Sydney timed that wrong, and that's going to let Young Sav go past his McLaren teammate. So Sydney made a little mistake there, but Young Sav did too, and the McLaren switch around again. So Sydney's got another lap to try and get past Scope Fielder, which is really harming his chances for the podium. But like Lee said before, this has been a really competitive showing tonight from the McLaren. Signed, sealed, delivered into turn 5, and the McLaren moves up to 5th.
Just to see what Scopefield and Brown in here, whether he's just facing for a safety car. so he's clearly struggling on
Yeah.
these 22 lap old mediums. You can get turned into the first part of that complex there, so yeah, not a good deal from the driver, but he's sticking it out. I mean, safety car basically, I think all you can hope for at this point, if he comes in the pits, he's going to be right at the back of the grid.
Yeah, he will be. He would actually be 13th as well. JP's just pitted for a set of soft tyres as Louis has a little delicate balance of the throttle, shall we say, out of turn number 13 and mid 14 as well for good measure. So those hard tyres that are 21 laps old now really are long in the tooth. So Louis got a fight on his hands to get to the end without falling apart. I mean, Brando, to give it a context, is miles behind, so he pitted earlier, and that undercut just hasn't worked out for him.
Ryan also is, I just got on board with him, he's struggling as well with grip, big sideways, a good super on
Well, Scopefield is being overtaken by Louis, so Louis' hard tyres, even though they're a lap younger, are going to be in much better nick than what the Ferrari, the Alpine has at the moment. So Louis up to 7th place. He does have a penalty, but it's only 3 seconds, so his tyres in theory should go to the end, so he should be able to pull away from Scopefield, but we shall see how that goes. Back at the front, Got Spooked is giving the haunting to Ryan. Let's see if he goes through. He's got to make sure he times this properly, doesn't go past him before the DRS line, which is there. So Got Spooked, he'll just lift the ERS, which he does, to get alongside Ryan. DRS wide open, and it's goodbye Mr Sunshine, you're into P1 is Got Spooked. Ryan drops to second, and his hope will now come down to, I would imagine, either a safety car or decided to box now for some softs.
Yeah, because things are not a gap thing, but he doesn't really lose much behind there, so still going to look out for it. And Bjorn is also in the DRS as well now, so yeah, this podium battle, I think it's quite likely looking at the time to be got a few minutes and beyond the door fight in the podium position. But yeah, in what position they'll be is
Bjorn's really pushing, but the key thing here now is that Merckx has caught up to Ryan, so he's going to lose a little bit of time behind the Sauber because of those tyres. You can see how much grip the Mercedes has already, and he's looking for a way past the Sauber. Can he do it? No, he can't, not quite there. And look at the temps just going up and up and up. Ryan just hasn't got the grip to go any quicker. Bjorn's right there as well, and that gap's now over 2 seconds, so this is doing absolute favours for Got Spooked and Bjorn de Boer, who's trying to find a way through, but he had a snap of oversteer at turn 15. He can't get past yet. Merckx now through past the Sauber, and so goes Bjorn into 3rd position. So the happiest driver of the lot will be Got Spooked after all of that, as JP goes past Gattuso for 11th place.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan obviously struggling on these old tyres, but I mean, having said that, if he was to pit now, he'd be at the back of the field.
So he might as well carry on.
He might as well carry on.
Yeah.
Try and ride it out to the end of the race. If he can manage to stay maybe top 8 or 9, I think that'd be a better result than they continue the pit for any softs now. So, yeah, it's an interesting tactic, but it may pay off for the Sauber driver yet.
I think in truth he's got a chance of top 6 really, because Louis is already on tyres that are 24 plus laps old as well, so he's not going to be catching at the rate of knots like the 2 McLarens would be, so there's a chance for 6th here for Ryan, which would be a really creditable performance following on from his 5th in the sprint race. So not over yet, he's still in 4th, he's entitled to hang on and battle for his life, for his position, and young Sav has got a penalty, don't forget, so that's all to play for there, as Bjorn is going to say hello to Merckx and then wave goodbye if he can get past. Here comes the Ferrari driver. Before turn 1, the move is done, and it's 2nd place. But they are closing the gap to the Red Bull of Spook.
Yeah, there indeed it is coming down a little bit by bit, and if they go together a little bit in the DRS thing, not too much fighting, yeah. Probably, maybe under this lap, but maybe a lap after lap. I think he's basically down for a bit of a 4-lap showdown towards the end. To pick up those penalties, Young Sav and Louis do have 3 seconds on the mentions at it. Gattuso and Pezzo currently 14, 20 seconds and 9 seconds. And I think that Louis has just had a spin, has he?
Yeah, he's had a half spin. So those tyres are really starting to look second hand now for the Ferrari of Louis. Not ideal for him, sadly. He's going to have the attention of Brando behind him, who's just trying to get through the end of this race. It's a shame for Brando, he was right there, but that decision has completely took him out of the equation. Speaking of equations, let's divide that gap down. Bjorn is within DRS of Got Spook. He has been burning the battery to get up to the back of the Red Bull, but it's going to pay dividends. And here we go, we're going to have a 5-lap shootout as he sets fastest lap of the race. This is on.
Good work, Kevin, with another 3 seconds trying to maybe match the 20 by the race, this race. But yeah, Bjorn may, as I say, lightly back and Got Spook. Maybe a little bit too far back here for a move into turn 5. Yeah, it's a little bit too far behind. Merck's just playing the watching brief at the moment. We know Merck is incredibly good at playing the DRS, so it's interesting to see how he approaches these last laps.
He's got to try and make sure he sticks with DRS though, because he's right on the limit of it at the moment. He should be okay because of how close Bjorn is to the back of Got Spooked. Any little nonsense between the two of them and that's going to close that gap right down. Meanwhile, I am watching these guys, but I also consider watching brief on Ryan because he's 1.6 clear of Sydney. Ryan could be on for a top 5 here, which would do his championship chances a world of good in terms of his standing. But Bjorn is ready to go. Oh, big stop of overs here for Got Spooked, and that's going to open the door at turn 15 for the Ferrari. He's timed that nicely as well, the DRS, so he's going to go through before he even gets there. DRS goes open, and Got Spooked kind of touched the back of him, and that's Louis round again in the background. That's the yellow flag. But Bjorn is leading, and Merck's going to try to go around the outside at turn 1, but that wasn't happening. Got Spooked goes to second, and Bjorn de Boer is your race leader.
Yeah, great use of Ryan as well in that. So let's look at Young South, but Young South just waiting time. Another 3 seconds.
Yeah.
That's 6 seconds, so that gives Ryan essentially an 11-second or so buffer to that second McLaren on track. So yeah, great stuff. And Louis finally coming in the pits. I think he realised the game was up on those hard tyres. And I'm guessing he's just going to come in now for some stops. Try and set fastest lap. However, he's not in that top 12.
No, he's not in the points.
Get into top 12 to get those points, although Gattuso does have a 20-second penalty.
Yeah, so he might have a chance yet, like Louis, for an extra point on top of what he's already currently got. But again, the drivers at the moment who are out on circuit with the fastest lap of the race have done it on soft, so he's going to have to really get the power down and see how he does with this. Fastest lap currently a 17.996 from Bjorn, and that was with the assistance of fastest lap. But Bjorn is getting on with this. He is really putting the motor down. He's nearly a second clear of Got Spooked, but Merck has reeled that Red Bull in. He's really pulling the Red Bull in. He's making the move now. He knows he's got to go for it. And Merck, no, there's contact, but wow, good save from Got Spooked. Just about survived. Sydney goes past Ryan. I thought that was going to be a huge accident, but Got Spooked gathered it up. Ooh, take a deep breath, ladies and gentlemen, because that could have ended in disaster.
Yeah, I'd have to say Got Spooked would have been in a better position there to just let Merck go ahead.
Yeah.
Because between them, they closed the gap massively to Bjorn de Boer down that straight. And yeah, instead it pretty much ended up with Bjorn de Boer running free, but as it is, the top 3 are still close together. Ryan has been overtaken by Sydney now, and hopefully he'll try and nurse this car to the end. Young Savage captain, but again, still has about an 11-second gap to come up with place.
Looking good for Ryan for 5th place as Gattuso goes past Ed Veer, who's spun at turn 4 again. He hates that corner. He's going to be thinking of that tonight when he goes to bed, I'm sure. Here comes Louis across the line. He's done his first out lap on his tyres. See if he can go for fastest lap on this one. But Bjorn, his Ferrari teammate, is at the front, and he's away from Merck. Merck will close the gap, of course he will, with DRS, but he will not be in a position to overtake here, I don't believe, towards turn 1. There's a massive amount of closing speed, but nowhere near enough. And in fact, Merck Oh, Spook's got a time penalty, and that makes the front three a front two, realistically, in terms of time, doesn't it, Lee? Because that's going to factor him out now.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much all Spook can really do now is play interference with the two cars in front. He's not going to be able to gain those 3 seconds on these guys in the 3 laps, obviously. So, yeah, I guess his target now really is to just try and make sure he doesn't make mistakes and stay around Sydney and still stay in the podium.
Yeah, that's absolutely the key for him. Here comes Marlon for 7th place. Can't help but say that, to be honest, but he is down the inside the Red Bull of Schofield, who's got 30 lap medium tyres on. How they are surviving, I don't know, but I think JP will probably get him at the end, just because those softs will still be working at this point in time. Just a point to make about Got Spooked. Second week in a row now, he's picked up a time penalty when he's been in the leading fight. It happened to him in Jeddah, and again, it's just that's the refined craft of drivers. That's something that drivers work on over time and experience. Got Spooked picking up those penalties and just stopping him from getting that last jump onto the top step of the podium at the minute.
Yeah, as I mentioned earlier, I think this is a combination of these guys being on the ragged edge.
Yeah.
It's just easy to overstep them now.
Sydney gets a penalty.
3 seconds. That's not another, that's the first 3, isn't it? So,
yeah.
Yeah, right, actually, almost within that 3 seconds of Sydney, but I think that's still going to increase that. Yeah, I think it is just that good combination of how fast it has to put massive slide.
Mother of mercy, did you see that, ladies and gentlemen? What a save from the Red Bull. I mean, he's pushing hard, but he could have pushed too hard and into the wall there. That was astonishing car control again on the exit of turn 11, but those tyres now probably over the edge of the cliff in terms of tyre grip wear and probably thermal degradation for that matter. They're probably struggling. We are on the penultimate lap of the race though, and Merckx, this is his one chance down this main straight. He might have another chance at turn 4, but here we go. He's got the battery to look at the closing speed from Merckx. It's going to be as easy as you like. And the Mercedes on the final lap has snatched P1. Can Bjorn de Boer fight back on the exit of turn 4? This is going to be critical for the race victory. Out of turn 4 they come. Merckx a little bit slow. Here comes the Ferrari towards turn 5. He's on the inside line. They're braking a little bit later than each other. They lock the front left. Can Bjorn give him enough space? He can. And Merckx is going to take all of that space and run away with it into turn 7. And the Mercedes, who hasn't led a lap since the pit stops happened, has snatched it away with half a lap to go.
There we go. Now, this is a great opportunity here for Bjorn. Doesn't fancy it. No, he doesn't fancy the guys up the inside. So yeah, this is going to be a run for the flag, isn't it? Pretty much out of the final at the penultimate corner. I have to say, Merckx he's good at this. He's good at sticking out at the end and getting the win at the end as Louis gets that fastest lap. And yeah, here we go. I think it could be Merckx's race.
It looks like it's going to be really close at the line, but it's going to be another race victory for Merckx. He's done it again. The Tier 1 champion has another race victory under his belt. A good effort from Bjorn, but he'll be punching himself at that. Got Spooked takes another podium to add to his championship tally. He's in a good fight. He's got Spooked in terms of the standings. Sydney gets 4th. A happy Ryan in 5th place. A brace of those for him this evening. Young Sav takes 6th. Brando, what could have been? 7th place for him. That hard tyre switch not paying off. JP actually getting 8th in the end after all of that. Schofielder did pit for softs in the end, so those mediums had cried enough. Keza is going to be 9th, and Gattuso, although he's got penalties, will be on track in 10th, but that will actually go to Edvir, who will take 10th in the Williams.
Yeah, I think Louis actually, interestingly, has got the fastest lap, and I think that he's just about going to finish ahead of Gattuso for 12th place. And get the extra point for fastest lap as well.
Schofielder actually set the fastest final sector of the entire race then with his 1 lap old soft tyres. So well done, Scope. He'll be writing home about that one. what a race that shaped out to be. JP, driver of the day. Fair play to JP. He had a few battles going on through there, so good result for him. Probably he would expect to be higher than that. I know JP quite well. He would want to be further up. There's the podium at the front there. You've got the three drivers, all happy as Larry, but none happier than our current champion and almost forever champion is Merckx. He is a fabulous driver. The Mercedes team all celebrating in a virtual land, in a virtual game. Bless them all. Let's move it on then to our race results. Lee, take it away, man.
Okay, I will indeed. Merckx, taking the win there from third on the grid, so really good for him. Ahead of Beyond the Bright in second, got to third with Sydney fourth, Ryan had 7X in fifth place, which was very untired. We jumped up sixth, Brando 7th with JP 8th, Edsy at 11%, Stick third at 11th, that was Louis 13th. Louis got a 3-second penalty, so did
missed out by 7/10.
Yeah, so didn't get a point or a fast lap point, and unfortunately the time for Gabby, Ashtube and Jack.
Well, that was an exciting event. That was really, really good fun to watch. Lee, we got a chance to do interviews with these guys, or are they all PC, so that means we can on?
Yeah, I think Merckx has been able to join us before, but through the other IRL party chat, so I think it'd be a bit messy to try and switch between parties and everything to do so.
Let's get some comments from the gents then. Let's see what they say. Let's do that. That'd be a good idea. So we've got Merckx, Bjorn, and Got Spooked. Let's get some comments from those guys. Apparently, Got Spooked is saying that he lost his audio from lap 28, so that's when the mistake started to appear. So that would explain his 3 seconds.
Yeah, it's probably on the old game, isn't it? Lap 23, I believe.
Yeah.
And, obviously, still some people suffering with it. Back on my own now. Interesting results on my screen in the race. It says that Merckx won that race by 33 minutes. Interesting that. Covered, so
Yeah, everyone else was at lunch.
it seems that way. Great races. Everyone grateful for coming. Definitely a complete contrast to what we saw last night in Tier 4.
Well, we are a league of many contrasting fortunes, and today, despite everybody's best efforts, Merckx has once again put himself at the top. Can anyone beat him, I wonder, through the rest of the season? We do have 2 rounds to go. We've got the Netherlands next week around Zandvoort, a really tight and technical circuit. Well, very quick at the same time. And then the final race, excuse me, apologies, I am unwell, by the way, so if you've heard random sounds through the stream, that is my fault, I apologise. I have just about survived through this. But the final round of the season is at Australia and Melbourne, where we do expect to see quite a bit of chaos around that track. Let's see, Drivers Reeb. We have got some comments. We've got one from Bjorn. Do you want to read Bjorn's out, or do you want me to do it, Lee?
I don't have it up on my screen at the moment, so I'll have to let you do that one.
Alright, so Bjorn has said, the man in second place, good qualities, overtaking both the sprint and the race on the final lap to lose, so pretty disappointed. Not great for the Constructors' Championship, which is true for Ferrari, because they're trying to gain as many points as they can at the minute. If I just have a look at what I believe is the latest standings for Tier 1, you know, Ferrari third currently, trying to close the gap on Red Bull. You know, only a couple of points gained. Brando finished in the points and Louis missed out on that fastest lap, so Red Bull still have an advantage going into the last 2 races.
Yeah, it's worth noting as well, Beyond the Bull has only recently just become a full-time Ferrari driver. He joined mid-season, I think, as a reserve. Got promoted to the Ferrari team to join Louis. Strong lineup. We have to feel really Beyond the Bull and Louis against Got Sweet and Brando, Camelanga, probably it's probably about an even a battle as you're probably ever going to get.
Oh, we got a comment from Mercked. Mercked has said sprint qualifying and sprint race was a disaster, got caught in all sorts of shenanigans in the mid-pack and got underfloor damage. Race went a lot better, happy with the results as the pace wasn't the quickest today, but some good battles, especially in the first stint. Congrats to the rest of the podium. It's all very kind and friendly, isn't it? We want to see a bit of fisticuffs. We want to see a few arguments. It's a bit too nice for everybody in Tier 1. But there is a lot of respect there, though, and I think that's the key thing for everybody who's watching. You know, the drivers do respect one another. They do give each other racing room, as you see on track, and that's why it is quite friendly. But trust me, they do push themselves absolutely flat out. Mistakes can happen, as we've seen tonight. But what a set of races it's been.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, as you say, Zandvoort next week, but I'd like to think we're probably going to get similar standard of action right now. If anything, right now I think the racing's a lot closer.
Yeah.
Than Portugal. So yeah, it's definitely shaping up to be a good end to the season. And yeah, me and JPH have mentioned it in the past how close these other guys are to Merck, but he always seems to find a way of winning the race. And I think tonight his tactics of going for that move on the final lap were about as good as it gets, really.
Well, we're going to give it another minute, see if Got Spooked decides to reply or he has actually ghosted into the night, so we'll find out what's going on there in terms of his race. And excuse me, just have a little look back through the rest of the results. Obviously JP, I've still got the results on the screen for people to have a look at, but JP up 6 spots, you know, good recovery for him. Ed, despite, you know, going off 4 times at turn 4, still got 9th, so clearly a bit of perseverance has paid off for him, with everybody else deciding they needed to make a pit stop or have another bit more carnage going on. JP made 2 pit stops today and he got 8th, and so did Ryan with the benefit of the safety car, so it worked out for those 3, despite, in Ryan's case, the game deciding it wanted to glitch against him.
Yeah, and I think saying over JP obviously doing those 2 stops, it kind of just shows that he still finished 8th in the race. It shows just never give up, because you never know what's going to happen. And yeah, he was 8th in a really good recovery. Well, I know he was caught up with quite a few great races.
Well, it looks like Got Spooked has ghosted us. It is a shame. We would have liked to talk to him about his adventures in the Red Bull with his audio disappearing, but not to worry. Not to worry. We will be sure to catch up with the drivers next week at Zandvoort and then off to Melbourne for one final time of this current season at Invictus Racing League. Overall, Lee, give us a closing comment from yourself in terms of how's tonight's gone in your opinion.
Yeah, it was as you say, as we both said, it's really good racing, plenty of action, and yeah, to be honest, I'd have to say probably my highlight of the evening was actually not only at the instance, but Ryan dragging his moving tyres out for that 5th place in the main race. I think that's probably gone better than he would have thought it would have done himself. So yeah, very impressive stuff, and yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it once again. Yeah,
absolutely. In fact, I'd give Ryan my driver of the day. It's the only chance this season I'm going to be able to say that for Tier 1, so I'm going to take my opportunity while I can. Well done, Ryan, for getting those 30-lap-old mediums at the end. Well done, fella. That was a good effort from yourself. Merckx, Bjorn, Got Spooked. Well done for you guys on the podium and for everyone else who has finished. Thanks for everybody who has joined us this season so far with Invictus Racing League, and for watching tonight's action, minus JPH. He will be back, of course, for the next event, so don't worry, you won't be missing him for too long at Zandvoort. But from myself and Lee this evening, thank you very much for watching Tier 1, and wherever you might be in the big wide world, have a good one, and we'll see you next week.